I'm Ekta and I welcome you again. Well, I'm at Goyal House and this is Spirit of Goyal. We talk about spaces, we talk about creations, structures that speak, that express, that move us. Now, architecture की जब बात होती है, creations की जब बात होती है, spaces की बात होती है, we always look at some of the beautiful designs, we look at landscapes and whatnot. But one thing that I have learned after listening to India's finest brains, people behind such amazing creations, is that it should be moving you somewhere, It should touch you. It should speak to you. There should be a connection with all these places that are created, all such structures and spaces. So today I'm really excited to listen to someone who is going to help us understand that how can walls move? Through his work, he believes in value architecture and always giving something which is not only a solution but something which is an inner delight to all his clients through his work. Someone who literally puts in hard work, soul and whatnot every time with every task that comes to him and his team and his amazing office pool we're going to talk about. So I welcome Gurjit Singh. Okay, मुझे बहुत कम बार ऐसा होता है that ऐसे लोगों से बातें करने का चांस मिलता है जो मेरी तरह बहुत ऑब्सेस्ड हैं इस चीज़ से दैट उन्हें अपने आसपास का जो सराउंडिंग्स होता है ना वो ऐसा चाहिए होता है विच गिव्स देम सम काइंड ऑफ अ गुड एनर्जी. ऐसे बहुत कम लोग होते हैं. सो व्हाइल आई वाज रीडिंग अबाउट यू तो मैंने एक चीज़ ये पढ़ी और मुझे कहीं ना कहीं ऐसा लगा दैट बिकॉज योर एंटायर एसोसिएशन विथ नेचर हैज़ बीन वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग सिंस योर चाइल्डहुड. So then you wanted something around while you're working. और जब आप अहमदाबाद आए थे आपका जो पहला ऑफिस था वो भी साबरमती के बिल्कुल सामने था. तो जब when this whole situation started आपने शुरुआत की as a professor teaching at SEPT and all. उसके बाद when you wanted to start your own agency and everything, so you wanted to make sure that there is something and that's how Pool started, if I'm not wrong.
So association with nature has always been there. I was born and brought up in Ajmer.
जी.
So we were surrounded by hills all around, and walking up the hills, etc. was part of the life at that time. Came to study architecture in Ahmedabad, no hills, so everything flat.
सब flat है इधर.
So after that, for my internship, I went to Bhutan. So again, I was teleported in a very beautiful land, very mystic, full of nature, and also mysterious. Not many people knew about Bhutan at that time. So a lot of our time was spent in going to monasteries, trekking in the mountains, so like pure nature, Then I was fortunate, I chose an architect to work with who was based in Switzerland. So from Ahmedabad, then I went to Switzerland. Again a very...
फिर से पहाड़ों के बीच में.
हाँ, so फिर से वो journey continued रही. And then I came back and for the lack of any other space that I could call my own, I stayed back in Ahmedabad. And I also got a teaching assignment.
जी.
So that made me fixed in Ahmedabad because there was teaching assignment. I could not leave. And we started looking for work, etc. And slowly, work happened. At that time, I could rent an office which was overlooking Sabarmati. So we said our beginnings are like Gandhiji. You also started from Sabarmati and we are also on the Sabarmati. And it was a beautiful location between Ellis Bridge and Nehru Bridge with a garden in front. So 20 years, then I bought that office later on. And for about 20 years we were operating from there. So that became, with the river, it became our life, every day. Being in, whether it was dry, running, whatever, any season. So that became our life. And then when we were making our own office, we said we have to bring this river also to the office. We can't leave it behind. So being far away from Sabarmati, we created a pool. And we said, okay, our office is going to be the length of the pool. So everybody looks out into the pool, and then we called it pool also, in all sense of the word. That it could be a pool of people, it could be pool for everything, thoughts, ideas. So that became our lifestyle office, which we still have.
How lucky are people working there? Matlab, like, they have a part of nature there itself, and someone who created a space that way is that, there is a very fine balance. There is a part of nature very close to you.
Yeah, also, I think they're very lucky because we have a pool day where everybody has to get into the water.
Ah!
Okay, so you may not get into the water, that is allowed.
Acha.
But you can't use work as an excuse.
Wow.
You can't say, I have work, so I will not get into the water. Okay, so the pool day precedes work. It has precedence over work also.
And is this true that जब कोई नया design पे काम करना होता है तो सभी everybody is going to work on the ideas and everything that क्या लेकर आते हैं और फिर there is literally something like this that you have given tasks when chocolate का design बना के लाना है कि अगर ना पसंद आए तो कोई बात नहीं सारे वो chocolate खा जाएंगे. How much of truth is there in this?
No, this I was doing with my students.
हाँ जी.
So we said, first of all, the whole idea that a new design takes a lot of time and you have to brood over it, etc., etc. We just wanted to get out of that. We said it has to be overnight. Your first gut feeling is what we really value. Whatever comes out without too much thinking. We say, do first, think later. That's our motto. So, just to make the whole process very interesting, I would tell them that you carve out at least 10 designs in chocolate. So, each one is carved out in chocolate. Designs can be bad, that much is allowed, but the chocolate can't be bad. So, first you have to learn how to make chocolate. So, you have 10 designs from say 15 students, you have 150 pieces of chocolate in the classroom. It can never be boring. And
but
whatever you don't like,
this, like today, what I understand is that, of course, like you're this one amazing architect, and there is so much, like some of the fabulous work that you've done, and globally your presence has been rewarded so well. So I'm talking about someone like while you were growing, आपने ये सोचा था that इतना fun मेरा office होगा, मेरा टीम इतना एंजॉय करेगा that they want to come to work.
नहीं, हमने सोचा फन होगा, ऑफिस होगा या ना होगा वो नहीं पता.
फन होगा लेकिन लोग खुश रहेंगे.
So we made sure that at least that should be the criteria that you should enjoy.
Yeah.
And work happens.
Work happens.
Yeah. So I think the school that I belong to, SEPT, has a major influence. It was open 24 hours. Where can you think of such a place which is open without barriers? You couldn't go work anytime. With full freedom. I mean, there can't be freedom more than that. So we have grown up in an environment like that. In fact, when I was working in Switzerland, I told my office, because I could say anything about India and they would believe. So I said, we all sleep after lunch. So I should be allowed to sleep. It's a religious thing. So, you're not touching a religion, you can sleep. So I was the one who was sleeping half an hour extra during lunch hours. Or anything that I wanted, I could tell them. And survive.
क्या fine work-life balance रखा है आपने मतलब. And I'll tell you something, like this is what happens when the head or the one who's the leader, when they themselves have a very nice fine balance, like you should be healthy also, you should feel good also, and work also should happen in a nice way that way. पूरी टीम को ना मजा आता है, उनका करियर भी बनता है, लेकिन साथ में they are growing as an individual also. So that ways it is fabulous, sir. क्योंकि आपका thought process इस किस्म का है.
I think what we started off was that it's called counter suggestion. You say, like to my children also, I say the same thing. So when they are going to work, they say we have too much work. I say, can we have a game of chess? Then they will fight for work. If I tell them go work, they may not. But if I tell them, okay, let's play chess, they say, no, we have work. So when they are suggesting that they have work, then they will do it better. So mostly I am telling them not to work. And people, we have a very good team. I mean, that is
Yeah.
beyond.
And there are many activities that happen at pool. Lunches hote hain. There are these kind of interesting days. Many things happen.
What we did was we combined two activities. As economics became very important, we were teaching our students that your spaces have to be multifunctional. Like examples like Manik Chowk, which changes its function 4 times in a day, 5 times in a day. Similarly, the spaces are limited. You have limited resources. Use it 4 times. It becomes something else in the evening. So our office is office in the weekdays. It becomes a weekend house after office hours. So we have the pleasure of both. If you have a weekend house, sometimes you don't go there. It is not maintained. Once in a while, when you go there, first job is to tidy it up, make it usable. And then within second day, when you have to move out, you have to wind it up again. So half the time is going in managing the space rather than enjoying the space.
Correct.
So we said, whenever it is not in use, let it be an office. So people can enjoy the water, people can enjoy the garden, kitchen, everything. They come as a default. So that's what is happening now.
Fun place. Pool is this one place. मैंने वही सोचा था मैं सर के साथ बातें
वहाँ पे आ जाते आप
मैं शुरू करूँगी उसके बाद में आई एम गोइंग टू बी वेरी बेशरम एंड आस्क दैट मेरे को परमिशन चाहिए कि आई वांट टू विजिट एंड लाइक लिटरली स्पेंड सम आवर्स एट दिस प्लेस जिसपे इतना थॉट गया है, इतनी एनर्जी गई है और बड़े प्यार से इसके पीछे सब कुछ है. मतलब it's not just a place. Like I want permission to visit that.
We just changed the entire work culture. It is food is given. First is health, second food, third is work, fourth is play. So that is the order.
Kya cool
order. So when the food is announced, the people have to stop work. When pool day is announced, people have to stop work.
What fun. What fun workplace.
Yeah, but it is very difficult still. People still want to work. You will not believe.
इतने अच्छे breaks मिल रहे थे आराम से तो हम लोग को काम तो करना है. Also, while like we are moving and talking about work, there is a very beautiful thing which I heard when I was like reading about you, that you believe in value architecture. So always giving something extra to your clients that ways. So let us put some light on that value architecture.
So there is a word called value engineering where for technical stuff, you are able to save in certain ways and you can probably invest in certain ways. You can save from one side, you can invest in the other side. So basically what happens is that it works like a trade-off. You give this much off, but you can have this. So when we were doing houses, people sometimes saw the pictures and they said, oh, they are so beautiful, etc., so expensive. I said, no, they are not expensive. If you look carefully, they are not expensive. They have this whole feel of a very expensive place. So what we were doing was, for example, somebody wanted an Italian marble flooring. So it's an expensive item, and people are already mentally prepared to spend so much money in a. We would convince them to do Kota stone straight, which is as good a material, though it is undervalued.
Undervalued, true.
So we would say spend in this. Kota. So they say, okay, chalo, convinced, and we are saving. They say, now you have this money, let's do something nice. Let's make a beautiful door out of it. Right. So it's the same money that has been used. But when people look at that door with say a Kota stone floor, which is a neutral backdrop, they say, oh wow, such a beautiful door, must be so expensive. But actually it is not. So what you have done is you have taken out money from from the same project. And done this. For example, even like doing optimum structural design. Not to spend extra on anything. So your checks and your monitoring increases, which means you have to check that nothing is going extra. And you have saved a lot of steel, lot of concrete, etc. And then you can buy something nice, like an Italian piece of furniture, and make that space so beautiful.
Not only smart, amazing, but like, like since I am also a Punjabi who is born and brought up here in Ahmedabad, and this whole thing, like I always say that I'm very thankful that I was born and brought up in Gujarat, because there is so much you learn out of this community in terms of revenue, in terms of business, in terms of building. तो जब आप बोल रहे हैं ना कि giving something extra from the same which they have thought of, that is something which they value so much. यार मेरे को कुछ और मिल रहा है, मेरे को कुछ और special मिल रहा है. So
it's in the money language, it is so easy to explain.
Yeah, and
because
they
you can actually check.
And they like it so much. They
Yeah.
like there is a special. Then there is a special association that they get. कि नहीं यार मेरे को same budget में there is something extra I'm getting, and something which is so amazing.
Yeah.
It stands out. There is a statement about it.
Absolutely. So same way for builders, what we do is we say we are able to get little extra area out of your efficient planning. So for example, if there is a scheme of apartments, and from every apartment, if you are saving, say, a little bit of passage area, which was unnecessary, it can turn out to be, we give them the calculations, it can turn out to be around 14 to 15% of the total area that you got extra, which becomes like an extra room. Just so we are saying overall your area is the same, but check the number of rooms, you got one more, and they wonder how this has happened. Huh?
You're giving something extra.
It is not extra. It is from.
That. But
yeah,
like
efficient planning, and you have saved
planning.
from there.
Definitely.
Yeah, so
efficient
that becomes like an extra. So basically reducing the wastage. For example, expensive flooring you are using. So whatever the wastage is, don't throw it away. We say, okay, put it in the staff quarter, no? Rather than suppose you don't want this wastage. So suddenly that staff quarter has become all Italian marble. Because there are small pieces of Italian marble that has been put there. So nothing has gone waste.
So cool.
And the value has gone up so much. It could be the best staff quarter.
I did read about this thing. So some of the like values which you follow, all of you guys as a team there. When in doubt, reduce.
Yeah, I mean, we have lots of fights, so we are not able to decide what to do. If there is this option, we say whichever is consuming less, let's choose that.
When in doubt, reduce.
Yeah,
that one.
And when not in doubt, definitely
reduce. I know. I was like there is, like I said, there is so much of learning. Like we look at structures, we look at houses, we look at places, but there is so much of brain and soul which has gone into giving satisfaction to one such client. Like now moving forward towards moving walls. Okay, so this is my favorite part. Like why it is my favorite part? Architecture has to be something which moves you. It touches your soul. There has to be a connection. There has to be some expression. It reaches out to you, to your heart. अब मैंने बाकी सारे मूवमेंट्स के बारे में सुना था, पढ़ा था, ठीक है, लेकिन दिस होल थिंग केम वेरी न्यू टू मी. मूविंग वॉल्स, आई थिंक दैट वाज आनंद साहब्स प्रोजेक्ट दैट यू डिड, जो पहला वाला जो था जहाँ दीवारें आपने
No, the first one that we did was for a friend and builder whose name is Ashok Patel.
Ashok Patel's residence. Yes, उनके यहाँ.
So
there were 3 generations staying there, and like आपने.
No, that is a different one.
That is a different one?
Yeah, we do lots of these moving stuff
तो
now. So
मुझे ये पूरा करना था. So how did this happen? Like moving walls totally.
Yeah, so I mean, there is a little bit of interest in mechanics. We have seen, my father used to repair his own motorcycle. So when we were children, we used to watch him do every part. And then I realized that in buildings, we don't have to, if we are using some parts, they don't have to perform that high because the movements are very slow compared to, say, a motorcycle or an automobile. So we had this trust in, say, for example, a bearing or a pivot or a wheel or a steering. We know that it will perform. Yeah, it is. This function is nothing.
There is some action.
So wherever we wanted that some performance has to happen. For example, if you want to actually make a heavy door, we can make it possible. It is not such a big deal. Then it grew into making spaces. So typically what happens is that in a small plot, we are supposed to leave margins all around. The margins are about 10 feet. The other guy is also leaving 10 feet, your neighbor. So when you open your window, you look into his window.
Ah.
It is not helping any which way. Earlier, in at least the pole houses, we used to make wall to wall, so everything opened inside. Here you are looking into the neighbor. So everybody keeps their curtain drawn. Nobody opens their windows.
Privacy issues and all.
So we said, what to do? This margin is just like a waste space, and the living rooms are small, etc., etc. So what if the walls could just open in the margin? That is allowed. You can't have a fixed structure, but the walls can open, and that space can be claimed. So like that we started. You making that margin part of your room. So you could enclose, you open the big walls, and they would become the side. It would become like an extra room.
Extra room you get.
Yeah, and you can be outside. You can sleep there. So we started doing that. Then in this project, 3 large houses with three generations living.
Correct.
So it's a very complex way of living. We Indians are very adapted to a living like this, but it is actually very complex. You have multiple relations and they have to be maintained. And you want to open out also, and sometimes you want to close out also. Yeah, so you want to be in your own domain. And if you are shutting the door, it doesn't seem that pleasant. You are closing the door on somebody.
It's like,
yeah, कि दरवाजा बंद कर दिया. So we said, okay, let's do a climatic kind of a thing. You have these walls, large walls, and whenever you don't want the walls to be open into the garden or
and there is a totally
you can close.
New.
Yeah, then you have an enclosed house which is completely closed, and here we could spend a little bit more money. So they are all in remote control. You don't have to manually do it. You just have to press a button and the stone walls open out or close out. And it is working beautifully.
Brilliant. I saw some of the videos and I was like, what work this is. Like literally there is so much of thought behind it. And again, I think what I will conclude in all the creations and all of your work, I think there's a very beautiful thing, giving. I think the one core value is that something that you want to give something extra, you want to give something special. The whole giving attitude, the intent that is coming so beautifully in all of it when we look,
Yeah, we don't see it like giving. We are saying that so there is a purpose of architecture that we must solve the problem.
Solution
there is a brief you have to solve.
Yeah, there is a solution.
That is the first and foremost thing, that
Yeah.
whatever you are asked to do, that should be done in the best possible way. Number 2 is that it must be appealing to the senses. You must make it beautiful, materials, light, etc. And third, which we think is the most important one, is that it must make a connect which is beyond the senses also.
Beyond the senses.
It must you must want to go there and be there. This we say comes from an inner delight. That there is a delight that it must offer beyond everything else.
Inner delight.
Inner delight, yeah. It's basically, sometimes you want to go to some places. They are not always best of materials, or they are not always the best of most efficient designs, but you just want to be there, and this is what we seek. And it's a permanent thing. Every time any project, you want to seek that and try to attain it in one way or the other. So that's the additional, if you want to call it, we think it is integral to architecture. That this is the prime purpose of architecture.
Wow.
Engineer can make a building, and you can solve, but that feel and that touch, how some spaces are made in a way that you just want to be there.
It moves you.
Yeah, so that is, we are trying to reach there.
Beautiful. Thank you for giving your precious time today. It has been an experience to listen to you and to understand that how much of it goes behind such beautiful structures, that we just look in pictures and videos, and we go there and we take pictures. We go to such places and we're like, oh, this is so amazing. This has been made so well. but there is a
Yeah,
lot
sometimes
of
the
soul.
pictures can't capture.
They can't do the justice.
Yeah,
They definitely
do.
can't do the justice.
Yeah. Thank you, Ekta, being here.
I was a student who got a lot. I gained a lot of insight and learned a lot. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, and do come to pool.
I will.
Yeah.
I finally have an approval. I'm going to be visiting pool very soon, and much love to the entire team.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks.